The maitre d' clocked me the instant we stepped into Lumar's, the city's most guarded French dining room. My sister Charlotte lifted her chin and said, "Reservation for the Bennett party of 4. I stayed a stride behind, watching my parents arrange their smiles and watches. Certain rooms like this answer to them. Martin guided us through the hush. I caught the staff's quick nods, the kind people make when they know a secret. Charlotte eyed my plain black dress and murmured, "Brave choice." I smiled. "Comfortable suits me." Mom's warning glance cut the air. Dad buried himself in the wine list and whistled at the numbers. Our waiter, John, arrived. I saw my family file him under forgettable. He turned to me first. "Welcome back, Miss Bennett. Your usual table was taken, but this is the next best." Dad coughed into his water. Mom's menu drooped. Charlotte blinked. "It's perfect, thank you," I said. John met my eyes. "Would you like the 82 Bordeaux you favor?" The table went still. "Yes," I said. "That one." Plates landed, shaped food and silver. Conversation stalled. Dad ventured, "So, Claire, how do you know everyone here?" I traced the rim of my glass. "Time in kitchens goes a long way." Charlotte snorted. "Kitchens, please?" John returned with the bottle, asking whether Chef Michael should send a few things not on the menu. I didn't have to think. Tell him I'd love it. Cork eased free. Night opened with it. The first course arrived, delicate scallops resting on a saffron foam. My family glanced at the plates as though they'd been delivered to the wrong table. I let the silence linger. The flavors burst against my tongue, and for a moment I almost forgot who I was dining with. Dad cleared his throat. "This is different, not like the country club." His fork hesitated, as if eating would commit him to acknowledging someone else's world. Charlotte leaned closer to Mom, whispering, "I suppose she begged the chef for special treatment." I set down my glass. "Actually, Chef Michael asked me to preview this dish before it's placed on the permanent menu." Their eyes snapped back to me. Charlotte's lips parted, then closed, as though the words had slipped away. Another course followed, then another, each more elaborate, each a reminder that the man in the kitchen trusted me to approve what others merely consumed. Mom tried to bridge the gulf. "Claire, dear, we were surprised you could even afford to come tonight." I dabbed my napkin. "I've afforded more than you know. You just never asked," Charlotte pressed. "So you hide success now? Live small, dress plain, to what end?" "Because comfort never needed to be loud," I said softly. The waiter approached again, laying down lamb glazed in red wine. His eyes flicked toward me, waiting for approval before leaving the table. Dad's jaw worked. "Claire, you never said how many places you're involved in." I swirled the Bordeaux. "Enough to know that every room like this eventually reveals who values respect and who values appearances." Charlotte flushed, stabbing at her lamb. I leaned back, savoring both the food and the unraveling certainty across their faces. For years, they'd dismissed my choices as missteps. Tonight, every bite proved otherwise. Dessert arrived in a flourish, a soufflé risen to impossible heights, paired with a port older than Charlotte. The sweetness lingered in the air, though none of them seemed able to taste it. Dad leaned in, voice lower now, stripped of authority. "Claire, explain! How did all this happen?" I rested my spoon. "Remember when you refused to fund my degree because it wasn't in finance? You called culinary management a waste." His eyes fell to the tablecloth. "That waste became a network of restaurants across 3 continents. I didn't need your approval. I needed your doubt." Mom's hand fluttered to her pearls. "You own this?" "This and many others. New York, Paris, London, next spring, Tokyo. I built them from the ground up." Charlotte nearly dropped her glass. "But you, your apartment, your clothes." I laughed quietly. "Appearances. You measure success in handbags. I measure mine in livelihoods. My staff earn the highest wages in the industry. Health insurance, scholarships for their children, that's my wealth." The waiter approached once more, folder in hand. "Miss Bennett, the investors have called again. Shall I tell them your usual answer?" "Yes." Not for sale at any price. Dad blinked. Investors? Which group? Morgan Stanley, I replied. They've offered 12 times earnings. I declined. Silence pressed around us. The same man who once sneered at my little restaurant job was now confronted with an empire he could neither buy nor control. Charlotte's phone buzzed under the table, likely friends gossiping about who really held power here. Her cheeks burned as she typed furiously. Mom tried again. Darling, we must celebrate this. A gala, an announcement. Funny, I said. It wasn't worth celebrating when you thought I was barely scraping by. I rose, smoothing my plain dress, handmade, actually, by a Parisian tailor who valued subtlety over logos. The waiter stepped aside as I moved toward the kitchen. My family remained frozen, spoons idle over untouched soufflé. Chef Michael greeted me with warmth, placing a new menu in my hands for the London opening. Beyond the glass, I saw my family huddled, whispering, faces pale with the shock of reality. My phone buzzed again. Charlotte apologizing, Mom pleading, Dad asking to talk. I typed a single reply. Reservations required, 3-month waitlist. That night, in my quiet apartment, top floor, mine alone, sparsely furnished because peace doesn't need clutter, I poured the last of the Bordeaux and studied the framed newspaper article on my wall. Unknown buyer transforms failing bistro into global empire. I smiled. They'd spent years overlooking me. But sometimes, the sweetest taste isn't found in sugar or wine. It's in the moment they realize the ground they stand on was built by the person they dismissed. And I intended to keep building.